Hi, everybody. Sorry that I'm not there today. Going to be dealing with a sick 2-year-old, so really exciting stuff. So today we're going to start our Math 7 Unit 6, Proportional Relationships. To do that, we're going to be going over something we've already talked about in class, which is a rate. So the definition of a rate is a ratio describing how one quantity changes in relationship to another one. So some examples of rates is dollars per pound. When you're buying something at the store, you're spending money per pound. Feet per second, that's speed. When you're traveling, you could be walking feet per second. And you guys have seen me set up proportions with these labels. We're going to be using labels again. Customers per day. Maybe we're talking about a grocery store and we want to know how many customers are we seeing per day. So it's customers per day. I'll just do C per D. All right, so we're going to be setting these up and solving these, working on rates. Tomorrow, I think we're going to, or not tomorrow because it's Friday, but Monday, we're going to be talking about the unit rates. So let's just get to our work on rates here. During the winter of 2015, the residents of Buffalo recorded 3.5 feet of snow in just 12 hours. If the snow continued to fall at this rate, how much snow did Buffalo get after 20 hours? So notice up here, I set up my labels. We're going to do the same type of thing here. We're talking about feet per hour. So we're going to do feet per hour. You always want to start with your labels. I'm going to set up a proportion, one of the easier ways of doing this. So I have 3.5 feet over 12 hours. That's the given information from right here. And then I'm going to have to place my 20. It's 20 hours, so it goes down here where hours is. Should be hours. And I'm going to look for that number. Really, you guys get to make a choice on how you're going to solve these. So I think a lot of people are doing cross multiplying, but if you're doing arrow method, that's fine too. I'll show both during these notes today. So I'll start with cross multiplying. This is going to be 12 times x is 12x, and then 20 times 3.5. So 3.5 times 20 is 70. We want to get that x alone, so we're going to solve this equation. This is 12 times x. The opposite of multiplying is dividing by 12 on both sides. So when I do 70 divided by 12, I get 5.83 repeating. When I get answers like this, I want to go back and see if it tells me how to round. So if the snow continued to fall at this rate, how much snow did they get? No, it does not tell me how to round. So I can do 5.83 repeating, or I can figure out what is the 0.83, and that's going to be 5/6. So also be 5 and 5/6. Either of those would work, and this is the missing number was feet, so feet. So 5.83 repeating feet, or 5 and 5/6 feet. Okay, so that's how we're going to do our rates. We're going to set up proportions, and then we're going to solve them. Really important to use our labels. That helps you know where things go, just like we were doing in our scale drawings and scale factor unit that we just got through. Looking at number 2, Matt ran laps around the track of a gym. He ran 4 laps in 3.5 minutes. At this rate, how long will it take him to run 14 laps? So what are the two things that I am actually measuring? Well, we are talking about laps per minute. Laps per minute. And I'm going to do 4 on top because that's the given one, with 3.5 on the bottom. That's the given information. Then I have to figure out where 14 laps goes. Laps is on the top, so 14 goes on the top, and I'm solving for this one. How many minutes? Oh, I forgot to do my arrow method up here. So again, if you like the arrow method, I will show that. If you don't, you can kind of fast forward through this video. If it's the arrow method, I want to do 12 times something to get 20. I don't know that, so I'm going to do 20 divided by 12. That's 1.6 repeating. So it's multiplying by 1.6 repeating times 1.6 repeating. 3.5 times 1.6 repeating is 5.83 repeating. Same answer. Okay, moving back down here. Sorry about that. Little detour there. All right, so laps per minute. Back to this. We have 4 laps, 3.5 minutes, and then 14 laps in how many minutes? I'm going to start with cross multiplying. 4 times x is 4x. And then I'm going to do 3.5 times 14. When I do 3.5 times 14, I get 49. Again, I want to solve this. I want to get x alone. So I'm going to have to divide each side by 4. And I get 12.25, which is 12.25 minutes. We were looking for minutes, so 12.25 minutes. For the people that like to do the arrow method, here is the same setup that we just did, but I got to figure out 4 times what is 14. That's not a normal number, so 14 divided by 4 is 3.5. So I am doing 4 times 3.5 to get 14, and then 3.5 times 3.5. 3.5 times 3.5, 12.25. Same answer as we just got, 12.25 minutes. Okay, so that's the first page of notes. Let's go on to the second page, page 2. So looking at page 2, number 3. As a drama director, Emma gets paid $132 for 8 hours she works. Over the course of the week, Emma gets paid the same amount, the same hourly rate. If Emma worked a total of 37 hours, how much did she get paid? So the two things that we are talking about measuring is we're talking about money and we're talking about hours. So I'm going to do money, hours. That's my labels. So I'm talking about money and I'm talking about hours. Our money that we start with is 132. Our hours is 8. Looking at the other thing, 37 hours, that would go on the bottom because hours is on the bottom. And we are looking for this number. So again, I'll set it up twice so that I show cross multiplying and the arrow method. So I'm going to cross multiply first. You don't have to do both. So again, don't write both if you have been. You don't need to be. Just need to do one. Choose the one that you're doing. So cross multiplying. 8 times x is 8x. 132 times 37 is 4,884. We want to get our x alone. So we're going to divide by 8 on both sides. And I get 610.5. That missing one was money. So this is $610.5. Now, we never talk about 0.5 when we're doing money, so that should be 50 because we're talking about money. It should be $610.50. If you're doing the arrow method, 8 times something is 37. Don't know that, so I'm going to do 37 divided by 8. That's 4.625 times 4.625 times 4.625. So 132 times 4.625, 610.5. Again, that's $610.50 because we were looking for money. Okay, so money over hours. This should be something that we feel pretty comfortable with. We've been doing a lot of this type of work. All right, looking at number 4. When purchasing Texas Instrument calculators from the manufacturer, Staples is provided with the various rates at which they can be purchased. You can buy scientific calculators, 15 for $240, or you can buy graphing calculators, 10 for $800. So, part A, how much does it cost to purchase 27 scientific calculators? All right, so let's just talk about scientific. Scientific is calculators and money. So that 15 is how many calculators, and so that's going to be number of calculators for money. I'm just going to put calculators down here. You guys get to kind of simplify how you label it. You could put C over money, but you have to know what the label means. So I'm going to write calculators over money. It's 15 for 240. The question wants 27 scientific calculators. So that would go up on the top where calculators is, and I'm looking for money. I'm going to cross multiply. 15 times x is 15x. 240 times 27 is 6,480. Again, I'm just using a calculator, so hopefully you have a calculator when you're doing this. You shouldn't just be kind of guessing. This is not hard. I want to get that x alone, so the opposite of multiplying by 15 is dividing by 15 on both sides. So 6,480 divided by 15 is 432. So how much is 27 calculators? 27 calculators. I should put scientific calculators costs $432. That's my answer. Okay. So the rate that we are doing up here, I guess I probably should have put calculators per money. This could be a scientific calculator. This could be a graphing calculator based on the question. So the rate that we are setting up is going to be calculators over money. Okay, so how many graphing calculators this time can be purchased for $2,300? So again, we're going to do calculators over money. This time we're going to do graphing calculators. So that was 10 graphing calculators for $800. And this is $2,300. That's going to go on the bottom. And we're looking for this one. I'm only going to do cross multiplying for these. If you do the arrow method, you should know your method. It's the same answer in the end. I would have to do 27 divided by 15 and then multiply by that answer. For this one, arrow method, 2,300 divided by 800 and then multiply by that answer. But I'm going to show the work for cross multiplying because most of the students are cross multiplying. 800 times x is 800x. 10 times 2,300 is 23,000. Oh, running out of room. Put that back together. There we go. Okay, I'm going to solve this and get x alone. The opposite of multiplying by 800 is to divide by 800. So 23,000 divided by 800 is 2875. So how many calculators could I buy? I can buy 28 calculators. I cannot buy, I should put graphing. I cannot buy 29. I have enough money for 28. I almost have enough money for 29, but I do not have enough. So I can buy 28 graphing calculators. How would you determine the cost per one? And in class, I would ask, what is the cost per one? What kind of rate are we talking about if it's per one? So a little hint for tomorrow, per one is a unit rate. Hugely important in 6th grade, and we're going to keep talking about it this year. So if you talk about per one, that is a unit rate. Okay, so how would I do that? I would set up my proportion with, and we're talking about one calculator. It would be 1 over x. So example, if I'm talking about scientific calculators, it'd be calculators over money. It'd be 15 over 240 is 1 calculator over how much? Per 1. How many are we doing? So that's going to be how I set that up. The other thing you could do is you could do money divided by calculators. And if you just did 240 divided by 15, you find the unit rate. We'll talk a lot more about unit rates on Monday. So that's really where we're going. And you did a ton of unit rates and rate work in 6th grade. So I hope that this is a review of what you already knew. If not, I hope that these notes make sense. So you can put your book away. Your homework today is going to be on Delta Math. So go into Classroom and click that Delta Math link and go ahead and get started. All right, I'll see you.